Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So at the time that this video is going up, we will have just entered into the second half of 2024, which I am not sure how I feel about that, but what we're gonna be doing in today's reading is a mid-year check-in. So we are gonna be asking your spiritual team to come through today and sort of go through the different areas of your life and see how you have progressed so far this year. We're also going to ask them if there's anything in particular they would like you to focus on right now or for the rest of the year, or anything that will become a major focus for you that you should know about. And we're going to see, based on the current energies, what the rest of the year is going to look like for you. So we're going to look at the energies of the remaining seasons in this year. So for those of you who are in the Northern Hemisphere, this would be summer, fall, and winter. And for those of you who are in the Southern Hemisphere, this would be winter, spring, and summer. The seasons that we have left of 2024, basically. So there are 3 groups for you guys to choose from today. I'm gonna show you these crystals up close one by one, and please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. Number 1 is Fluorite. Number 2 is Smoky Quartz. And number 3 is Amethyst. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones. So if you guys chose the Fluorite, this is going to be your reading. I just wanted to start off by showing you guys the spread that we're going to be doing today. So this reading is going to start with your mid-year check-in, and we're going to pull some oracle cards for that. So there will be 4 cards to represent different areas of your life. There's going to be one focusing on you, your personal growth, your relationship with yourself, one focusing on your inner world and your home life, one focusing on your relationships, so your connections and partnerships with other people, and one focusing on your career, your projects, and your public image. So we're gonna see how you've been progressing so far this year in these areas, and if there's anything your spiritual team would like you to know. And then in the second part of the reading, this is gonna be predictions for the rest of the year. So if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, we are going to be looking at your energy this summer, fall, and winter. If you are in the Southern Hemisphere, we're going to be looking at your energy for this winter, spring, and summer. So that is our reading for today. And without further ado, let's get into it. The very first thing I want to do, which I don't know if I've even done this in a video before, but I wanted to use my pendulum and just see if there's any area of life out of the ones that we mentioned here, if there's any one that is particularly important that your spiritual team wants to emphasize for the rest of this year. So I am going to be asking your spiritual team as a whole for the messages today, but with that being said, if there is a particular spirit guide of yours whom you would like to hear from, and that can of course include your higher self or spirit itself, just keep them in your mind as we go through the reading. So for my group number 1s, is there an area in particular that is especially important or that they should be focusing on? Okay, so we're going this way. That's your inner world. Your inner world, your home life, things like that. And what about this is especially important for group number 1? What about their inner world and their home life is especially important? We have the number 8. So there's some things that are maybe hidden from you right now that you don't realize. This is kind of giving subconscious desires, subconscious fears, subconscious motivations. There's something within you that is maybe influencing a lot of your actions or influencing your habits, and that you don't realize it's there. And so your spiritual team is calling on you to focus more on that. And what kind of energy is it? What is the energy of this hidden thing in group number one's inner world? Mercury. So it's like your subconscious has been trying to talk to you. Maybe it may be that you don't notice it, or it could be that you notice it and you just haven't been able to make sense of it yet. So there could be, for example, recurring dreams that you have, or recurring symbols that you're being shown, but you haven't realized that they mean something yet, or you haven't realized what it means. It could also be that you're coming up against the same blockages in your life and you haven't realized the internal thing that is being reflected in your external reality, and that is causing these blockages. Or like having the same emotion over and over again and maybe not realizing the root of it. It's something like that. Is there any zodiac sign that is significant to group number one? Cancer, which that's literally associated with the fourth house and your inner world. So I feel like that's being emphasized a lot. It could be that a Cancer person is significant to you, someone with Cancer placements, or if you have placements in the sign of Cancer, your spiritual team might want to be calling your attention to those for the rest of this year. Also, Cancer season, I know that by the time this goes up, Cancer season is almost going to be over, but it could be a significant time for you, the month of July, the month of August as well, because we have the number 8 here. Okay, so I'm curious to see what we'll get into in your reading, but let's get into your decks now. I'm just going to put these down here to make room. I'm going to leave the pendulum too because she's pretty. Yeah, we'll set them up like this. So these are the decks that we're going to be using today. We have the Below the Surface Oracle deck, which we're going to be using for your mid-year check-in, and then the Aurora Tarot deck, which we're going to be using for your rest of the year predictions. And these two decks are the KINO Tarot Summer Bundle, which I've curated in collaboration with Tarot Stack. I'm sure many of you are familiar with them already, but just in case you haven't heard of them before, they're an online shop that carries a huge selection of indie tarot and oracle decks, which is always growing. You can browse from all different styles, all different creators, all in one place. And Tarot Stack is an active supporter and collaborator in our community. So not only do they have this platform for us to discover new creators and their decks, but they actually work directly with creators to help them get their decks printed and published and marketed. I may be working on a little something with them as well, but I'm very grateful for them. I'm very grateful for what they've done for our community. So I'm gonna have this bundle linked down below if you guys want to check it out, or if there's one deck in particular that you feel drawn to, I'll also have the individual ones linked down below so you can get a better look at it, and you can look at every card in the deck on Tarot Stack's website. So hi number ones, this is me from the future. I literally just finished doing your reading, but I realized that I forgot to mention, if you would like to get this bundle, you can get a 10% discount using the code KINO. That is all back to me from the past. Thank you very much to Tarot Stack for collaborating with me once again. Thank you to the creators of these beautiful decks as well. And thank you to you for listening to that. And now let's get into your mid-year check-in, starting with the Below the Surface Oracle deck. Group number one's mid-year check-in. And once again, if there's any particular guide, member of your spiritual team whom you would like to hear from, keep them in your mind. Okay, we're starting with group number one's personal growth. Your personal growth and your relationship with yourself. We have the Dumbo Octopus, stop chasing, attract what you desire. For your inner world, which we know is very important for my group number ones. Group number one's inner world. Wow, right path. Coconut octopus, you're on the right path. Keep going through the in-betweens. For your relationships with others, we have bottlenose dolphin, a good time, socialize and celebrate life. And that came out really quickly. For your career, for your projects, for your public image, we have the common octopus. Solve any problem. Your mind is your most significant advantage. Wow. Okay, I actually want to start with this card down here because your spiritual team said that this is the most important thing. You're on the right path. Keep going through the in-betweens. I'm also just thinking about a coconut, how it has such a hard exterior. It can be very tough to break through to get to that sweet fruit on the inside. It's almost as if you have this beautiful, sweet inner voice that confirms to you that you are on the right path, because you are. That's the biggest thing that you need to know for your mid-year check-in, is that you are on the right path. And if you keep going the way you're going right now, you are bound to manifest everything you desire by the end of this year. I feel like your inner voice is very gentle, very kind to you, very sweet, like a coconut fruit. But it's like you have built this hard shell around it so that you cannot access that sweetness. So maybe there's an inner critic in you that has built this kind of... Okay, this is going to sound really weird, but I have the visual of when your body, like... Okay, that's kind of gross, but you know, when your body like makes an enclosure around if there's a foreign object in your body so that it can't like get out, it's almost like there's this inner sweetness or this inner kindness. There's this voice inside of you that is so kind to you and encourages you to keep going because you're doing the right things and you're on the right path. But then there's this part of you that rejects that and built a hard shell around it. And it's like you cannot get to it anymore, you cannot hear it anymore, or you cannot accept it anymore. It's like you don't even hear your kind inner voice, or you don't realize how kind you are to yourself or how kind your soul is to you. Maybe because the unkind voice is much louder, but it's in there and it's whispering. What you don't see or what you don't hear or what you don't feel is that inner guidance letting you know that you're doing all the right things and to keep going. So there could be a very doubtful part of you. Let's read this one from the guidebook. Coconut octopus, number 23. It's difficult to know whether you are doing the right thing in life or wasting your precious time working on a venture that will not produce your desired outcomes. However, when the coconut octopus appears, you may rest assured that you are on the right path. This sweet, intelligent creature is resourceful in finding places for shelter, hence the name coconut octopus. View this card as a reminder to have faith in your decisions. You are clever and capable of anything to which you set your mind, but you must follow through, even if you are in an awkward in-between stage of your life. Remember that life primarily exists of in-betweens. Therefore, you must learn to embrace them and live your best life during those times. Otherwise, you risk wasting most of your life either expecting a new beginning or waiting to celebrate an ending. Wow. And it's on page 69 in case that is relevant for you. 96 could be relevant as well. I was just thinking as well, reading that passage, that there may be a part of you that is very soft and sensitive and vulnerable that has built that hard shell around itself because it's clever and it's resourceful, and maybe it knew that it needed protection, it needed preservation, it couldn't be exposed during a certain period of your life. But I feel like a main focus for you in the rest of this year is softening. It's opening up that hard coconut shell, is coming out of your shell. It's letting your guard down. That's another thing that's coming through. So you definitely need to know this. I also feel with this stop chasing message, you may be kind of in a frazzled or frantic energy. I see you kind of running around trying to prove something because you can't trust that you're on the right path. Because it's difficult for you to just slow down and trust the process and relax. And so there could be particular things, particular goals that you're chasing, or there's just a feeling of you like running around and trying to do this and trying to do that and trying to achieve this thing and trying to achieve that thing. My eye just caught the word success on this candle. It's success. You're chasing success. But there's a very specific success that is destined for you and that you don't have to chase, and that you're already on the path towards. And that will come to you at the perfect time because it was made perfectly for you. But it's like we're so anxious to get to that destination. We're so anxious to slap that success sticker on our journey that it's like you start chasing all these other random successes just to try to feel that concept of success. Even things that were not meant for you, or that are not destined, or that are not in alignment for you. It's like you're getting antsy on your current path because it's hard to believe that it's unfolding how it's supposed to. And you kind of start like scattering your energy and branching out to different things. Maybe there's a shortcut to success over here. Maybe I can find success over there, even though my soul isn't really in it. It's like, I just want that destination of success. That's what it feels like. And another example of this energy could be like, even in relationships, if there's a destined partner out there who is perfect for you, who is just for you, and you are meant to come into each other's lives in divine timing, but that process of going through the journey to them, your mind is so full of doubt and feeling like it should have happened already. And it's like, well, maybe I can be with this person, or maybe I can be with that person. It's like, it feels like frazzled. It feels like running around and branching out where you don't have to, because you just want to like prove that you can do something or prove that you can obtain something. But those somethings are not your destiny. It's not what will truly feel right for you. I hope that makes sense. These together are so important. Stop chasing. You're on the right path. You're already on the right path. Without having to overthink it, without having to overexert yourself, it just is. It's just a truth that is. And I feel like there's an inner voice that has really been trying to tell you that, but you're moving too fast to hear it, or your mental chatter is too loud to hear it. It's like this sweet inner voice that is saying, relax, everything is okay. You're exactly where you need to be. I wouldn't be surprised if your spiritual team is really encouraging you to slow down for the rest of this year, and really encouraging you to just be present and be grateful for what you already have and for the journey that you are presently on. I'm hearing like you don't need any new thrills right now, or like you don't need to be pivoting unless that's really what feels good to you. I see someone being like, this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working, but they're not staying long enough to even give it a chance to see how it's going to work and how it's going to unfold. You could be approaching your path from like a critical lens of like, show me if you're going to work or not, rather than being in an energy of, honestly, like of awe of what your life is, and not asking, is this going to work, but show me how you unfold. Show me how you work out in the end. Take your time. This is how you're encouraged to speak to your life, honestly, with gentleness, with curiosity, with wonder, with appreciation. Show me how you unfold over time. I am here to observe you. I am here to behold you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to judge the rate at which you go, or if you're doing what I think you should be doing by a certain time. I saw one of my close friends when I was back in Canada, and during our conversation, she said to me, be sensitive to the life that wants to be lived through you. And that really hit me, and that really stayed with me. And I feel like that's a message for you as well. We have this bottlenose dolphin here for your relationships with others. This is very much giving me like Three of Cups vibes, which interestingly is, Three of Cups is Mercury and Cancer energy. So Three of Cups could be your card, group number ones. This could be like a placement that someone has as well. Mercury in Cancer, you or someone who is significant, or it could be Mercury in the 8th house, or someone could have Cancer in the 8th house, which would make them a Sagittarius rising. This is just for extra confirmation if you or someone important has these placements, but I thought I would mention those. There's definitely a feeling of taking things less seriously, or just letting go and enjoying the ride. And because there's a really heavy burden of feeling like we need to prove ourselves, that I think wants to be released. And maybe this is something that you have been working on this year, but it's like, you're allowed to have fun now. You're allowed to celebrate now. It's like the passage in the guidebook said, like, don't just embrace the in-between. Most of life is in-betweens. Most of life is just those little moments. And if you're always waiting for that breakthrough, or waiting for that culmination, waiting for a beginning or an ending to celebrate, you're going to miss out on most of life. It might sound cheesy, but it's really like, focus on the little moments, focus on the little things, and find gratitude for those little things. That is what really makes up the majority of your life. This is also a really big friendship card. So, I mean, just thinking of the Three of Cups. And for this to come out in relationships, there's definitely going to be a big focus on friendships for the rest of this year. Or this is what your spiritual team is encouraging you to focus on. I would also say, if you have made new friends in the first half of 2024, these are going to be your long-term friends, or possibly even your lifelong friends. You've maybe been focusing on, there's also that message of coming out of your shell, being more outgoing, whether that's like going out to meet new people, or just making more of an effort to reach out to people in your life. You know, life can be so busy that before you know it, it's been so long since you've reached out to friends, family, loved ones. So maybe you've been making a more active effort of keeping in touch with the people in your life, or you're encouraged to do this. I think you're going to realize more and more as this year continues that your connections are the most important thing you have, and especially your friendships. Like, there's really something about your friends, your support system. You know what I think it is? Like, and this is so true This is so true. Like, I've noticed this for myself. I've heard other people say this. Like, when you ruminate on your life's problems by yourself, they feel so heavy and they feel like the end of the world. But then when you go to talk to your friend about it, it suddenly just becomes so much lighter. Perhaps even something that you can laugh about, because it's like you're carrying that weight together, and you know that you're not alone, and you know that it's just a normal part of being human. I feel like our brain has this weird way when we're just ruminating over problems alone of being like, I am the only one who has this problem, and there's something horribly wrong with me that I'm going through this. And it's so, our brain likes to make it so dramatic, but talking about it with your friends immediately makes it 100 times lighter. So it's weird. I want to say like, don't ignore your friends, but that's not right. Just like reach out to them. It takes effort, right? It takes effort to keep in touch with them. It takes effort to like schedule to hang out. It takes effort to meet new friends, but it's worth the effort. I feel like this is something your spiritual team is really encouraging you to focus on, and they can help you. Those things that are in your subconscious, those things that are swimming around inside of you that you can't place, other people can help you, because we're all really just mirrors of each other. And there's nothing going on in that deep, dark psyche of yours that is not in everybody else's psyche too. We all have that. We all share that collective subconscious space. And so even your deepest, darkest shadows, they're a part of humanity. Even your weirdest, nagging emotions, someone else has them. Someone else has named them. You're not alone. Communication is so important, and not bottling things up in your coconut shell. I know it sounds hyperbolic to say it's like everybody's going through what you go through. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people can relate, and you deserve to know that. Like, you deserve to know that you're not carrying the burdens of your insecurities all by yourself. Your feelings of not being enough, or your feelings of not having done enough, or like I'm with you. I think we all I think we all go through stuff like that. And you deserve to know that. Please don't cut yourself off or isolate yourself out of shame for any like shadows or insecurities that you may be feeling, because they're so normal, and you deserve to talk about them and make sense of them and share that weight with other people. So at the top, this is your career, your projects, your public image. We have solve any problem. Your mind is your most significant advantage. So you are very intelligent. I just realized you have 3 octopuses. Why did it take me that long to realize that? Octopuses are very, very intelligent, and squids too, I believe. So the fact that you have 3 octopi, your spiritual team is really highlighting how intelligent you are. And so you are meant for a career that is befitting to that. You are meant for a career that really works your brain, that only highly intelligent people can do. It may honestly be hard for you to find a job that is challenging enough for you and that really keeps your interest. And this is kind of sad, because one thing that, it's funny, I just like went on a whole rant about how everybody can relate to you and what you're going through. One thing that people might not be able to relate to is how smart you are, because I feel like you are an outlier when it comes to being highly intelligent. And so when you, for example, if you struggle to pay attention, if you struggle to keep interested or motivated in a project or in a job, people might not even be able to conceive of why. So they might say like, oh, you don't have enough attention span, or you lack motivation, or you're just a quitter. Like, bro, I'm dying of boredom. Like, I feel like things could be boring for you because they're just too easy to understand. I'm also imagining like a cat. You know when a cat's curious about what you have and they're like, ooh, what's that? And they like sniff it, and then once they understand it, they're like, okay, next, like don't care anymore. It's like you can figure it out in 2 seconds and then it's boring. I feel like you need a career that you may need to be in an industry that is constantly evolving. So you're not dealing with the same information all the time. Like it's dynamic. We're doing new research. We're making new discoveries. The climate is changing. There's always new stuff going on. What is that noise? I don't know if that's construction or a vehicle outside, but also looking at this octopus with all different things in their tentacles, you likely need to do something where you are multitasking or where you can wear many different hats. I don't think you can be in something monotonous, and there needs to be room for growth and leveling up kind of constantly, or even in a limitless way. Your mind is your most significant advantage. You also may be very close to solving a problem or like cracking a mystery in your career. Like if you've had a dilemma at work or in a project you're working on, if you've been feeling stuck, it's like you're finally getting the solution, or you're finally finding the thing that will get you unstuck, that will get you out of this rut. Finally getting clarity about a decision you need to make. Finally finding the answer that you've been working on for so long. Finally solving the equation, something like that. You've been doing great work. This could just be your spiritual team letting you know that you're really freaking good at your job and they want you to keep it up. Or they're letting you know that there's like a particular field that you are very, very gifted in, and that your time is coming. Yeah. So let's look at our predictions for the rest of the year. So now we're going to go into the Aurora Tarot. Okay. And we're going to pull 3 cards for the 3 remaining seasons of the year. So this first one is going to represent summer for my northern hemisphere, winter for my southern hemisphere, and we have the 10 of Pentacles. Beautiful. Fall for my northern hemisphere, and spring for my southern hemisphere. Ace of Coins, Ace of Pentacles. Winter for my northern hemisphere, summer for my southern hemisphere. 2 of Pentacles. Okay, it's like all Pentacle energy. Right away, what I'm thinking is the manifestation of your ideas, of your desires. Pentacles has to do with the physical world. So it's in your material reality right in front of you. It's becoming something tangible. And I feel like we can interpret this in so many different ways. Like, you know, because we have messages of you finding solutions, solving problems. So like an idea that you've been mulling over, a problem that you've been mulling over, it's like the solution is materializing. It could also be you giving birth to an idea that you've had, an idea of something you want to create. It's finally becoming real. It's finally in front of you. It's finally out in the world. A feeling that you haven't been able to place. You can finally name it as this concrete thing. A desire that you've been manifesting. It's right there in front of you. I guess what I'm trying to convey is that things are becoming real. Everything that you've been feeling, searching for, desiring on the inside, it's becoming real. It's being reflected in your physical, external reality. And that's what I mean when I say real. Like, it doesn't mean that it's not real when it's inside you, but it's in your 3D physical reality now. It's like your physical reality is like a sweater that fits really well. And you're like, finally, this feels right. This feels like what I had in mind. This feels like what's been in my heart. So some of you might have been feeling for a long time that your external reality is kind of mismatched to your internal experience. By the end of this year, that is not going to be the case anymore. Your external reality is a very accurate reflection of your inner world, your ideas, your emotions, your desires. It's like, it would be like walking into a house and looking around and being like, this isn't my house. And I feel like that's how you have felt about your external reality. Like, this isn't mine. I don't know whose this is. Like, this is not mine. And then feeling really out of sorts and upset about that. And then finally one day you walk in and you're like, like, this is my house. I can relax. Everything is right in place. Everything is right where I want it to be. Everything fits. It feels comfortable. Your life is feeling comfortable because you recognize it. You recognize it as what was always meant to be your life and what was always meant to be your experience. It's funny that we have 10 and a 1 because that's an ending and a beginning. And I feel like you've been in between for such a long time. And there are milestones in your future. There are significant accomplishments. There are breakthroughs. There are exciting new beginnings. There's also a lot of in-betweens. The fact that we have Pentacles as well, it's the slowest suit. So you are definitely on a path where things take a long time, and there's nothing wrong with that. You may feel like a late bloomer, and I say that with finger quotes because the only time that you're meant to bloom is the time that you do bloom. If you're blooming, then it's the perfect time to be doing that. But it might feel late, so to speak, compared to what you hoped for yourself or maybe compared to others around you. But you just really need to know that your time will come. I think the end of this year is significant and the beginning of next year because we have the ending and the beginning here. So end of 2024, beginning of 2025, this is a really big time for you in terms of your manifestations. It could be a very big time for you in terms of your career and your finances because all of these like coins are literally money. Now, let's get into your seasons. So, wait a minute. Okay, I just wrote them down. I felt like it might be easier if we have a little visual. So if you're in the north, we are going summer, fall, winter to the end of this year. If you're in the south, we are going winter, spring, summer to the end of this year. So starting off with your 10 of Pentacles. Season 1. For your 10 of Pentacles, there is a feeling of completion and culmination of something you have been putting a lot of efforts into. So this could be you completing a project. It could be you completing a program. I'm hearing like completing a program or completing a course. It's something like that. You are completing it in the first season, and then in the second season, it is going to lead to a new opportunity or a new offer. This is likely something that you will be compensated for. If you have a dream job or a dream field, it will likely be that or something that very clearly leads to that. Like you're being offered a new position that shows you a very clear roadmap to get to your dream job or to get to your dream field. And then in the third season, we have this Two of Pentacles. So there is a feeling of multitasking. It kind of feels to me like you will accept this new offer, but for some time, you are also going to keep doing what you are already doing. I will say this doesn't sound sustainable. It does kind of sound like something you would just be doing temporarily, but you don't have to worry about making the decisions about how to move forward for the time being, at least not for the rest of this year. I feel like that's something that will kind of come later. So I'm just gonna give an example. Like, let's say you are working at a job and then on the side you have been working on an album. The 10 of Pentacles would indicate the completion of that album. So it's like there's something you have been, and it almost feels like you've been putting in consistent efforts over time. If you had been able to just focus on that, it might have been a lot shorter, but because you had other things going on in your life, it took you longer than what is normal. Finger quotes. Another example of this would be like if you were working a job and then you were like taking college classes at night. And so maybe most people finish that class in a year, but because you're also working, it took you 2 years to finish that class or something like that. It took you longer because you had other things going on in your life, and that is totally okay because you tailored it to your own life and your own needs. And you should be very, very proud of yourself for finishing this. It's like, it's a course, it's a project, it's something like that. Something that you had to like show up and consistently put in the hours over an extended period of time while you had all this other stuff going on. It's honestly kind of amazing what you did or what you are doing. And in this first season, it's coming to a completion. And then in the next season, this completion is leading to a new offer, a new opportunity, one that you are very excited about, one that is going to land you your dream position, like I said, or it's going to show you a very clear roadmap to your dream position. And then in the third season, we see you doing two things at once, which honestly, I feel like you are probably used to, and you're probably pretty good at it because you had this octopus who's holding they got the Rubik's Cube, the key, the book, the crystals, like their hands are full. I think you are pretty good at multitasking, but it looks like in this third season, there's two things that you are really giving equal attention. So in that example where someone was working their job and then they're working on an album, it's like they finished that album and maybe they submitted it somewhere, or it got the attention of someone, or they just, it became successful, and now they're starting to play gigs. And so they're doing both of these things equally, where it's like, I'm going to my job, I'm working my job, and then I'm also doing gigs, and they are of equal importance in my life right now. They're taking up equal of my time, they're taking up equal of my energy. It's literally giving the feeling of working two full-time jobs. And that's why I say it's not sustainable, but it's just temporary. Like, I think you'll reach a point and you'll know when it's becoming a little bit crazy. You'll know when you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I don't have the energy. Or maybe one of them will really start, because there's a lot of like money vibes here. It could be that one of them just starts to become very lucrative. And so you can drop one of them because you don't need to do both to support yourself or to support your family. There will come a time where it becomes clear to you that one of these can be dropped, or where you just put your foot down and you're like, okay, this is silly now. I feel like I do that a lot because I do like 6 things at once, and then eventually I'm like, okay, we got to stop doing that. but that will come for you later. I feel like you don't need to make that decision by the end of this year. I think for now, we focus on getting this project finished, or completing this program, or completing this process, receiving your opportunity, and seeing how it goes for you. But yeah, you'll be busy. at the end of the year. It's like you're working 2 jobs, or there's like 2 big projects that you are doing at the same time. And again, I feel like you can do it, and I feel like you will enjoy it. It's just not something that you're gonna be able to do forever. And I do feel like one of these things will naturally fall off. And maybe you already know which one that is. Because I imagine you'll probably be most excited about this new opportunity. And so, you know, whenever the old thing can fall away, it can fall away. But there will kind of be a period where you do both, and there will be a period where you enjoy doing both. And enjoy it for now. Yeah, because that won't last forever. So I feel like those are all of the messages for my group number 1. So thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this, and I wish you all the best. I also want to say once again, thank you so much to Tarot Stack for collaborating with me on this summer bundle. I will have this bundle linked down below. I will also have the individual decks linked down below if you would like to check them out and look at all of the cards in the decks. And if you do want to get the bundle, you can get a 10% discount using the code KINO, which I think I forgot to mention in the beginning, so I'll have to put a little note of that. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings, just like the ones we do here on my channel. You can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here. And I'm sending so much love to you, to your higher self, to anyone who appeared in this reading, to their higher self. And I'm sending love to your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 2s, so if you guys chose the Smoky Quartz, this is going to be your reading. I wanted to just start off by showing you guys the spread that we're going to be doing today. Holy crap, I just got deafening ringing in my ears, which might be a sign for some of you. So, today's spread, we are going to start off with these oracle cards to do your mid-year check-in, and we are going to be looking at different areas of your life. So I'm going to be pulling 4 cards, and we're going to see how you've been making progress in these areas so far. If there's anything your spiritual team wants you to know about this area of your life, or any guidance that they have for you. So we're going to pull a card for your personal growth and your relationship with yourself, one for your inner world or your home life, one for your connections and partnerships with other people, and one for your career, your projects, and your public image. And then in the second part of the reading, we are going to look at energies for the rest of the year. And we're going to look at the remaining seasons that we have left in 2024. So if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, this will be this summer, fall, and winter. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then that will be this winter, spring, and summer. So that is the reading that we're gonna do today. Thank you so much for being here. And without further ado, let's get into it. I have my pendulum, which I was telling group number 1. I don't know if I have used this in a pick a card reading before, but we are using her today. She's very beautiful. And I just wanna see, before we get into it, if there is any particular area of your life out of these that we mentioned that your spiritual team says is of special importance, is going to be particularly significant, or any that they would like you to prioritize, anything they want to emphasize. So during this reading, I am going to be asking for messages from your spiritual team as a whole. But with that being said, if there's any particular spirit guide of yours whom you would like to hear from, and this can of course include your higher self or spirit itself, just keep them in mind as we are going through this reading. Okay, so that's so funny. The pendulum got tangled in my ring, which is on my middle finger. So that might also be a sign for some of you. Like you might need to tell a certain energy to F off, or you might need to say a firm no to something or someone in your life. Get rid of stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. That might be something that your spiritual team wants you to focus on. And of course you can do that with love and kindness, but with firmness too, because we don't want to leave it open for interpretation. I said what I said. All right. So group number 2, spiritual team, out of these 4 areas, is there anyone in particular that group number 2 should be focusing on? So my group number 2's same as group number 1. We got the inner world. Your spiritual team would like you to focus on your inner world, or they are letting you know this is going to be especially important for you in the rest of this year. And why is that? Why is the inner world so important for group number 2? The number 7. So it has something to do with how you relate to others, your partnerships, or a specific partnership. Doing inner work will maybe benefit your relationships in general, or it will benefit a relationship you have with another person. And what is the energy of this inner work that you want group number 2 to focus on? Let me use this one. Uranus. I think you're about to have a sudden breakthrough or a sudden epiphany in your inner world about yourself, which will either dramatically impact your relationships, or again, a relationship with a specific person, or it's like you'll go through something internally. I'm almost hearing you feel like you're crazy, because it's like you have this internal epiphany, and then literally the next day you step out into the world and it's like people are treating you differently. People are behaving differently around you in a good way. How people show up in front of you, how people treat you, it's changing overnight because of some inner work or some epiphany that you have. And I can't really explain why this is happening. I think it's something that's happening on an energetic level. Like you're removing some energetic blockage, and I'm hearing it's like night and day. The way people, or the way a specific person is acting towards you, treating you, you are being perceived differently. You're becoming more magnetic. You're getting more respect. You're getting more recognition. Your energy is more attractive. What zodiac sign is significant for group number 2? Libra. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. That is the sign that rules over the 7th house. So there could be a big focus for you in the rest of this year on relationships as well. And I feel like a broken record, but again, this could be relationships in general or with a specific person, but relationships and partnerships seem to also be a highlight. I do think you are becoming more beautiful in the rest of this year, which really just means you're becoming more authentic, because you are the most beautiful when you are shining your authentic light. You're not dimming it. You're not trying to make it look like something else or somebody else. When you let your inner light shine exactly as it is, in your most natural and authentic way, that is when you are the most beautiful. That is when you're the most attractive. That's when you're the most magnetic. You're going through an energetic glow up, and you're becoming really, really, really attractive to people and to the things and the experiences that you desire. You are literally like becoming a magnet, and it's going to happen, broken record again, it's going to happen overnight. Air signs in general could be significant because we have Libra energy, Aquarius energy. I'll throw Gemini in there too, so the air signs can be together. But yeah, an air sign person, a person with air placements, could be significant to you, or the season of winter could be significant to you, whenever in the year that is for your part of the world. Interesting. You're doing something on an energetic level that immediately changes how you show up in relationships and how people show up for you and how people approach you and how people treat you. That's interesting. Okay, so now we are going to get into your cards. So we have the Below the Surface Oracle deck that we're going to use for your check-in, and then the Aurora Tarot, which we're going to use for your predictions for the rest of the year. And these two decks are the KINO Tarot Summer Bundle, which I've curated in collaboration with Tarot Stack. I think that many of you are already familiar with Tarot Stack, but just in case you haven't heard of them before, they are an online shop that carries a huge selection of indie tarot and oracle decks. Their selection is always growing, so you can browse decks of different styles from different creators, all in one place. Tarot Stack is an active supporter and collaborator in our community. Not only do they have this platform where we can discover and support indie deck creators, but they also work directly with deck creators to help them get their decks printed and published and marketed out there into the world. I may be working on a little something with them myself, but I'm gonna have this bundle linked down below. So if you enjoy this bundle and you think you might like to get it, you can check it out from the link below. I will also have the individual decks linked if there's one in particular that you feel drawn to, and you can look at every single card in the decks on Tarot Stack's website. If you do like the bundle and you would like to get it, you can get a 10% discount using the code KINO. So thank you very much to Tarot Stack for collaborating with me once again. Thank you so much to the creators of these beautiful decks, and thank you to you for being here and for listening to that. And now let's get into your cards. So we are starting with the Below the Surface Oracle. And we are gonna do your mid-year check-in. So as I mentioned before, if there is a particular spirit guide or member of your spiritual team whom you would like to hear from, keep them in your mind. I just saw 1111, by the way. Definitely need to mention that. Maybe that 1111 is even a sign of who in your spiritual team is coming forward. That ear ringing could have been a sign as well. I'm also feeling very warm. I mean, it's obviously a warm day, but I just suddenly got a wave of warmth. So that could also be a sign of a spirit guide or a guardian angel who is around you if you suddenly feel warm or hot. Okay, group number 2. So first, could we please get a card to represent group number 2's personal growth journey and their relationship with themselves? We have the Olive Ridley Sea Turtle. Out of your comfort zone. You know what inevitably must be done. And group number 2's inner world, which we know is very important. The great white shark, go for it. Strike when the iron is hot. I feel like these kind of go together. Go for it. You know what inevitably must be done. Come out of your comfort zone. Strike when the iron is hot. For your relationships with others, we have the Ochre Sea Star, embracing rapid changes. Like we were literally talking about this, like sudden changes in your relationships. You are fully equipped. And then for your career, your public image, your goals, your projects, we have the deep sea blind shrimp, using all your senses, especially your sixth sense. Wow. Yeah. So for the rest of this year, group number 2, like, there's gonna be some big changes in your relationships, in your social circle. There's probably people at the point that you are watching this reading, people you haven't met yet, who you will meet by the end of this year, and they're gonna end up being very major characters in your story. Again, I feel like there's this very extreme difference in how people are going to start treating you, and it's for the better. It's like you're suddenly getting a ton of recognition or suddenly getting a ton of admiration, which you've been putting in work towards this, but I feel like until now it's been kind of brewing beneath the surface. It might look like you are becoming an overnight success or an overnight sensation, or like you're glowing up overnight, but you know what it took to get here. You know all the time and all of the things that went on behind the scenes for you to get here. You could be moving forward very quickly in a relationship. So for those of you who have a person of interest, things could start moving very, very quickly with this person, that by the end of this year, you're at a completely different level with them. And even some of you could have not even met your person yet. And by the end of the year, like, maybe this is an extreme example, but let's say you haven't even met this person yet. You don't even know who they are yet. And by the end of the year, you're like engaged or something. Or by the end of the year, you have a business together. It's like a very big step of commitment that happens quickly. And this card says embracing rapid changes. And I feel like with the number 5 being the number of the Hierophant, it's like when something is a high level connection and when it's meant to be, you know when it feels right, and you can trust that inner knowing. You might be feeling like, oh my gosh, is this too fast? But deep down in your gut, you just know that it's right. So there could be something like that happening for you as well. Okay, I feel like I'm kind of jumping all over, but these energies are related. For your relationship with yourself and your personal growth journey, we have out of your comfort zone. You know what inevitably must be done. This may be something that you've been working on this year, is putting yourself out of your comfort zone more and expressing yourself more and entering into the spaces that you want to be in. You may not even understand yet why you need to do this. You just sense that calling from within. Because I'm thinking of baby sea turtles hatching and just instinctively going towards the sea. I'm thinking of this blind shrimp who just knows where to go with a sixth sense. And interesting that this is in your career. You're kind of taking steps towards your destined career without even realizing why you're doing it, or without even realizing where it's going to lead you. I feel like you are very guided by instinct, especially this year. You've been guided by instinct, by gut feelings. You've maybe made some really drastic changes to your life just based off of the vibe, even though to others it might seem sudden or fast, and maybe even to you it seems sudden and fast. But when you get that gut feeling that it's time for change, or that it's time to take an action, it's undeniable. There's a specific message coming through for my group number 2s. I think this is a year that really taught you what it means when we say take inspired action, or this year is going to teach you that. Because I feel like maybe it's something you have to really experience to understand what it means. You know, we give this advice a lot. Take action when it feels right. Take inspired action. What does that mean? But when you get hit with that inspiration, you know what it is. Oh, this is the inspired action that we've been talking about. because I cannot deny what my gut is telling me to do right now. And that's the thing. I don't even know why I'm getting this instinct to take this action. I don't know where it's going to lead. I don't even know if it's going to amount to anything. It feels like an urge. It feels like a compulsive need to do this thing. And I might not even realize why I'm meant to do this immediately after. It might take some time to reveal itself to me. But I'm just going to do it. I'm even hearing, you'll know that you're supposed to do it when you don't even care what it's going to amount to. Because you're not sitting there like calculating if it's going to be worth your time. You're just like, I know this is something that I need to do. It's like when I started this channel, it was completely inspired action. I didn't have those thoughts of like, what's the long-term trajectory going to be? And is this going to be a viable blah, blah, blah? Am I going to do well? I didn't think about any of that. I'm not saying those are bad things to think about, just that when you get that gut urge to do something, you're not necessarily thinking about that stuff. You're like, I just got to do it. And I feel like this year is teaching you what that feels like. And you will likely be urged more and more to step out of your comfort zone. And there's something about entering the spaces that you've wanted to enter and being recognized as belonging to that space and really making your name in that space. Here we have something about a time-sensitive opportunity. Strike when the iron is hot, go for it. I think your spiritual team is bringing so much emphasis to your inner world, and especially your inner voice, because it's from there that you get that, oh, you know what? These things that I've been feeling, the ears ringing, the suddenly feeling hot, I wonder if you'll know when it's time to act because you'll receive these kind of sensations in your body. It doesn't have to be literally what I've been experiencing, but if you're in touch with your body and what's going on inside of you, you'll get the cues of like, it's time to act now. It feels reflexive. It's like, you know, when you hear a loud noise and your body like jumps and reacts to it before you even had the thought that I just heard a loud noise. It's like your body reacted before you could process it. And I feel like there's some actions that you are taking or that you will take or that you're meant to take where it's like before you've even processed like, wait, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? You've just done it. It was like a reflexive thing. It was like an urge. I really feel like you're meant to be guided by your instincts at this time. And there's a certain opportunity that you're meant to go for, but you have to be tapped into your inner voice to hear when it's time to act or to get that cue to act. I feel like people are going to start treating you like the version of you you're meant to become, if that makes sense. I don't know what that means. It's almost like people around you are channeling messages from your guides. They are channels for confirmation of who you are meant to become. The things that they say to you or the way that they treat you, it's like they're no longer treating you like the outdated version of you. They're almost treating you like a future you. The people around you are already responding to the energy of future you because the energy of future you is already here. So let's say future you has like a really high position of power and authority. You're already grounding that energy and people around you can already feel it. So even if you're not physically in that high position of power and authority right now, people are responding to that energy that you're already emitting. And you're going to notice people starting to treat you with a lot of respect and treat you like an authority figure and, you know, acting very like humble around you. And you might feel like that's weird, You're like, why are people treating me like this? I'm not in this really high, powerful position, but you're already grounding that energy of future you who is, and people are subconsciously feeling that. I hope that that makes sense. So I think what you're doing in your inner world is you're removing some energetic barrier that currently exists between the current you and the future you. And when that dam is broken, the energy of future you starts bleeding into the present. And other people feel it, and other people respond to it, and other people treat you as such. And as such, they show you who you're becoming. I really hope that makes sense. I'm going to read this one from the guidebook because this inner world, this is what your spiritual team says is the most important. So let's read our Great White Shark, card number 1, and it's on page 25 in case that is relevant for you guys. Could be the year 2025, like that's going to be your year. Go for it. Strike when the iron is hot. There are times when you intuitively know that you've got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity before you. Whether it is a chance to land your dream job, launch your own business, or experience an adventure with a loved one that you will never forget, strike when the iron is hot. When this card shows up, know that a fabulous opportunity comes directly your way. Do not let it pass you by. You are guided to seize this opportunity and run with the chance of it turning into something meaningful for you. Remember, you know a good thing when you see it. Avoid self-sabotaging by wasting too much time overthinking your next moves. You've got this figured out, and you are competent. Reading this passage, I'm realizing now that you're receiving an opportunity that you've wanted for a long time. And one of the reasons you might be overthinking it is because to you, it might feel so fast and feel so sudden. It's funny how that works. I feel like sometimes we want something for a really, really long time. And then when it's finally here, it feels fast and sudden, as if we hadn't been desiring it and working on it for months or even years. When it's right in front of us, we're like, oh my God, it's happening. It all feels so sudden. And so you might be feeling like this opportunity is too fast, or it's here too soon, or like you're not ready for it yet. I think you're kind of second guessing yourself and tripping over yourself because of how fast something feels. But you are ready. You are fully equipped. You know what inevitably must be done. Strike when the iron is hot. Like, I feel like these are all going together. Another reason you might overthink is because you don't quite understand where this opportunity is going to lead yet. It's just that something is pulling you towards it. And to that I say, you don't need to know where it's going to lead. Because, and I'm going to quote my friend who I quoted for group number 1 as well, but it's a different quote. I will live my way to the answer. And that's what you're doing. You're going with your gut now, and then you're living your way to the answer of why you needed to take this action. And it's something about moving to the top in your career or achieving a big goal. Again, like entering into the space that you've always wanted to be in or that you were always meant to be in. And I feel like everything you've been working on in the first half of this year has been preparing you for that. You've been working on getting more comfortable with being out of your comfort zone. You've been working on listening to your inner voice. Maybe you've been working on like surrendering and embracing change, on removing energetic blockages to ground the energy of future you in the now. Like, you've been doing inner work for this behind the scenes. The reason it feels sudden is, I guess it looks sudden in your outer world, but you've actually been preparing for this internally for a very long time. It's the vibe of a plant growing underground for a very long time until it finally sprouts up. And to anyone who couldn't see what was going on underground, they'll be like, why did this plant come out of nowhere? Why is this plant here so suddenly? It's not really sudden, it just looks sudden. That plant's been taking root for years, honey. It's like, it's that kind of feeling. that you're going through. So the second half of 2024, needless to say, I think is going to be full of really like fast changes. Like your life is really gaining momentum. So now we're going to move into your tarot to get some predictions for the remaining seasons of the year. This might sound weird, but this cardstock smells really good. I don't know why. Also, speaking of cardstock, look at this. I'm obsessed with this. Ooh, I love it. Okay. Predictions for group number 2 for the rest of this year. So we're going to pull 3 cards. We have the Hanged One. Then we have the 8 of Wands. And then we have the Ace of Cups. And I made these kind of impromptu for group number 1. Just to mark the seasons. I felt this visual might be helpful because depending on the hemisphere that you're in, it's gonna be different. So, if you are in the northern hemisphere, then we are looking at your summer energy, your fall energy, and your winter energy for the rest of 2024. If you are in the southern hemisphere, we are looking at your winter energy, your spring energy, and your summer energy for the rest of 2024. So, your first energy is the Hanged One. This is the only major arcana of this spread, and this kind of feels like divine timing. It feels like the divine plan. It feels like you are being prepared for something. This is Pisces energy. A Piscean person could be significant, or 12th house placements could be significant, but it's very interesting. Like the 12th house, it kind of feels like the spirit's waiting room in between incarnations, you know, because the first house represents your birth, you being thrust into this new world and into this new beginning. And the 12th house feels like that liminal space, that limbo. I finished my last life, but I haven't started my new life yet. It's that kind of dreamy in between that I feel like you're in during this season. It's also the card that comes before death, like before a major transformation. You may be feeling kind of weird during this season. You may be feeling spacey, feeling brain fog. You might be feeling clumsy, like you're more forgetful, you're making silly mistakes, kind of feeling like your consciousness is not all here. Like it's not all in the 3D. Your consciousness may be feeling a little bit scattered. You could be receiving a lot of downloads during this season and receiving energetic upgrades, which are invisible to the physical eyes and the physical senses, but are very real and very much take up your energy. So, you know, in the 3D, it might look like, oh my gosh, you're just so fatigued. You're just so scatterbrained. You just have brain fog. You're feeling lethargic. And it's like, you're actually doing a lot. You're processing a lot right now. But it's going on a soul level. So your energy is kind of being taken up by other realms, so to speak. And you are kind of in this in-between because you're here in the present, you're also you're also kind of in the future. Your consciousness is in the future. You're working closely with your future self. Some of your consciousness may be in your past. You may be integrating past versions of you, perhaps even from past incarnations. So your consciousness is in many different places during this season. And so that might lead to you feeling kind of hazy, kind of not all there, just like spaced out, spaced out here in the 3D. And I feel like the more you try to fight this energy, the more stressful it's going to be. I think if you can embrace this energy and just know that it's temporary and know that you're not crazy and that everything is going to be okay, then this season will pass more smoothly. You are definitely being prepared to be initiated into something very big, which I think is this opportunity that we've been talking about. Then in the next season, this is where we have the 8 of Wands. So I don't know which way this goes. It might actually go this way, but it's okay. It's the 8 of Wands. I feel like this represents a moment of communication coming in, which is your opportunity, your invitation. When we see this phrase, strike when the iron is hot, I think this is the iron being hot. This 8 of Wands represents the moment when the iron is hot. So this is happening in the fall for my northern people, and in the spring for my southern people. This hot iron moment. And it is coming in the form of receiving a message, receiving an email, a DM, like receiving something in the mail. Someone is offering you something, someone is inviting you to something, someone could even be extending their assistance, extending their collaboration. It may not even be an opportunity that's coming to you. It's just a communication coming to you, and you have to see the opportunity in it. It might not even be that the other party is explicitly stating, I have an opportunity for you here, but it's that your spiritual team is showing you. I think that's what this is. You know what inevitably must be done. Strike when the iron is hot. It's like, okay, this is just an example, but let's say you are signed up to someone's newsletter, like someone you follow, a creator, a professional, you're signed up to their newsletter. This 8 of Wands represents their newsletter coming into your inbox. And they're talking about their life and the things that they're working on. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's an opportunity for me here to like work with them in some way or to help them in some way. So it's not like, I don't know why interior designer is, like I'm thinking of interior designer, graphic designer. Obviously this is just an example, but it's not like this person is emailing you and saying, hey, I need your interior designer services. And it's not like they're putting out their newsletter and saying, hey, is anyone an interior designer? Because I could use some help. They're just transmitting whatever they're working on, and you see an opportunity for you to help or to serve or to contribute. Maybe they're talking about, I just moved and my office looks like a mess and I don't know what to do with it. And that's where you come in. But you have to sense it. This is your chance to get your foot in the door, because they just happen to be dealing with something that you can contribute to with your expertise. But it's not going to be like this forever. So it's like a time-sensitive window to put yourself out there, to extend yourself, to recognize that there's that opportunity there for you. Right? That's just one example, but that's to illustrate this energy. Because with all of this about like trusting your instincts, trusting your sixth sense, like you know what you need to do, that doesn't feel like I feel like if it was you explicitly getting offered an opportunity, it would be too obvious. There's no going with your gut in that. It's like it's presented to you and you just take it. There's something that might make you a little bit nervous. It's like you're going out on a limb and saying, hey, I think there might be an opportunity for me here. Would you agree? I think it's like that for some of you. And it's happening around this season, and you're being prepared for it right now. And then in our final season, we have the Ace of Cups, which means that you're overflowing with happiness. There's a new beginning that has happened in your life. So needless to say, I think that this is going to go well. I also think that this could be the beginning of a beautiful new relationship for you, or making new beautiful connections in general. It might be hard for you to put yourself out there like this because someone has to just believe in your potential. There's another party who has to believe in your potential. They have to be able to read energetically what you can do. Or they need to be able to pick up on the power of future you and believe in future you. And they do. Because you've successfully grounded that energy of future you. And I honestly think it's quite undeniable to everyone. So I think you're being offered a dream opportunity with this Ace of Cups. One that will lead to a union or a relationship or just beautiful connections. You could be feeling very out of sorts and just spacey and unsure and lost right now, but by the end of the year, you are overflowing with happiness. This is where you're really blossoming. Yeah, the end of the year is going to be an exciting time, but you have to, I don't say this to be like, this is not like a threat, but it's like it could easily pass you by if you don't do anything. You know, like I said, it's not just going to be handed to you. You have to see the opportunity for yourself and you have to go in and get it. Yeah, so it's like the energy is there if you will choose to work with it and if you will go for it. And it has the potential to bring you big happiness. But you know what? When something's meant for you, the universe will come back with it again and again. So even if you don't go for it this year, like it's gonna happen again. The universe will cook up another opportunity. We just don't know when that's gonna be, right? It's kind of like those rare astronomical phenomenons where it's like, yeah, there's gonna be another eclipse, there's gonna be another northern lights, there's gonna be another comet, but like, who knows where you're gonna be when that happens? What we do know for sure is that there's one happening right now and it's literally right outside your house. So are you gonna go outside and look at it, or are you gonna just wait for the next one? Why not? Why not just go for it? You're ready. You are fully equipped. You know what must be done. And this is the hot iron. So I don't see any reason why you cannot make it happen this year. Anyway, group number 2s, those are all of the messages for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much once again to Tarot Stack for collaborating with me. Thank you to the creators of these beautiful decks. I'm going to have this bundle linked down below. And I'm also going to link the individual decks if you would like to check them out and look at all of the cards in the decks. And if you would like to get the bundle, remember that you can get a 10% discount using the code KINO. Thank you guys so much. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy, Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings, just like the ones that we do here on this channel. You can also decide on topics for future readings over there. We have a great community on Patreon. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here. And I'm sending so much love to you, to your higher self, to anyone who appeared in this reading, to their higher self, and I'm sending love to your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi, number threes. So if you guys chose the Amethyst, this is going to be your reading. I wanted to start off by showing you guys the spread that we are going to be doing today. So the first part of the reading is going to be the mid-year check-in. And so for that part, we are going to be using the Oracle cards. And I'm going to pull 4 cards to represent different areas of your life. And we will be asking your spiritual team to come through and let us know how you've been progressing in these areas, if there's anything they want you to know about these areas of your life, any guidance that they have for you. So there's going to be 1 card for your personal growth and your relationship with yourself, 1 card for your inner world or your home life, 1 card for your connections and partnerships with other people, and 1 card for your career, your projects, and your public image. So that is the first part of the reading. And then in the second part, this is where we're going to be getting our predictions for the rest of the year. And I'm going to be pulling tarot cards for this part, and there's going to be 1 card for each remaining season of the year. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, this is going to be summer, fall, and winter. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's going to be winter, spring, and summer. So that is the reading for today. Thank you so much for being here. And actually, before we even get into the cards, I want to use my pendulum, which I don't do often or maybe ever, but I felt called to use it today. And I just want to ask your spiritual team if there's any area of life in particular that is going to be of utmost significance or that they would particularly like you to focus on. I am asking your spiritual team as a whole, but with that being said, if there is a particular spirit guide of yours whom you would like to hear from, and this includes your higher self or spirit itself, just keep them in your mind as we go through this reading. But let's see for my group number 3s. Out of these 4 areas that we're looking at today, is there one in particular that is most significant to group number 3? Okay, so we're going this way, and that happened very quickly. So that is your personal growth and your relationship with yourself. That is what your spiritual team is encouraging you to focus on the most, or they're letting you know that in the rest of this year, this is going to be a really big area of focus for you. So just to clarify, let's roll some dice. What is it about group number 3's personal growth or relationship with themselves that is so important, or why is it so important? We have the number 5. So this could be related to a change that you are going through. You could be reinventing yourself. You could be rebranding yourself. You could be reprioritizing or changing paths, if I think of the number 5 in the numerological sense, but this does represent the 5th house. And so I think your spiritual team is wanting you to focus on the way you express yourself, your creativity, as well as your passions, your hobbies, and just the things that you enjoy. I actually think that your spiritual team, when you think of personal growth and personal development, they're encouraging you to put your passion and your joy at the center of that. And so when you're looking at your journey of growth, it's almost like they want you to ask yourself, am I having more fun? Am I enjoying myself more? Am I more passionate about what I'm doing? And if the answer is yes, then I have grown. It's like they want you to use these kind of things as your metric, I think is the word, your metric for growth, rather than like, I don't know, for example, did I make more money than I did last year? Or like, did I do more work? Or, you know, arbitrary numbers. They want you to base your growth and development off of how much closer am I to living a life of passion that I really want, or how true to myself am I staying when I express myself? How, and also like your freedom. Am I a more free person than I was last year, for example? Do I feel more free to say what I want to say, to present myself how I want to present myself, to be who I want to be? It's through passion, freedom, and joy that they want you to measure your growth. You may also be going through, if you are a creative, like if that's something that you do for a living, or you would like to do that for a living, you may be going through a period of growth in your creative projects as well. What is the energy of this creative growth for group number 3? We have Neptune. Okay. They're wanting you to get more specific about what you are striving for. The energy of Neptune feels kind of nebulous, which I feel like is a word that I only ever use in readings, and I should probably make sure that I know what it means. But it maybe feels, I literally just looked up and saw 555, by the way. So I think that this is an important number for you. I'm hearing the word like willy-nilly, like something feels abstract or something feels willy-nilly. It's like they maybe want you to do things more with intention, and like intentionally make time to enjoy yourself, intentionally make time to express yourself. I feel like these things maybe take a back seat. Like I'm looking at my piano right now. Maybe this is calling me out because I have not been spending time with her. But it's like maybe you're prioritizing all of these other things that you have to get done and then saying like, I'll play the piano if I have time. And they're saying that's not specific enough to maybe give yourself a concrete goal of like, I'm going to play the piano for this many minutes a day, or I'm going to learn this piece. It's like if you can give yourself a task for your enjoyment or for your hobby, that will ensure that it doesn't take a back seat. If you can get more specific, then it's less likely to slip through the cracks. And they don't want your hobbies and your passions and the things you do for fun and your creative expressions to slip through the cracks. But if you leave them too open-ended, they might. Does that make sense? I even like when I work on my music, which is very much like it's my hobby, it's what I'm passionate about. If I just write in my calendar like music day, it's too open-ended. But if I write down like, okay, I'm going to work on this song today, or I'm going to finish this step of the production process today, then my brain has an image of like what I'm going to do, and I end up doing it. And sometimes I sit down and I do a completely unrelated task, but it doesn't matter because I ended up sitting down and making music, which was the whole point anyway. But it's something about giving your brain something a little bit more specific to work with in terms of the time you spend on your hobbies and the time you spend for fun. That could be helpful. They're wanting you to prioritize these things more for the rest of the year. Or if you have been working on prioritizing these things more, then they're confirming that you're on the right path and they're very happy for that. What zodiac energy is important for group number 3? We have Libra energy, which is the same as group number 2. So I don't know if you were drawn to that group, but Someone with Libra placements could be significant. Could even be you who has Libra placements. This could also be that Libra season is going to be an important time in the rest of this year. So Libra season would be late September to late October. Okay, so we're going to put these down here. And I'm going to put the pendulum too because she's pretty. Okay, I think this is Unakite, actually. What I feel like it is, because I remember reading that at the store, but it looks mostly pink. Anyway, we love her. So we're gonna get into your cards now. So for the mid-year check-in, we're gonna be using the Below the Surface Oracle deck. And then for the predictions for the rest of the year, we're gonna be using the Aurora Tarot. And together, these two decks are the KINO Tarot Summer Bundle, which I have curated in collaboration with Tarot Stack. I think many of you are already familiar with Tarot Stack, but just in case you haven't heard of them before, they're an online shop that carries a huge selection of indie tarot and oracle decks, and their collection is always growing. You can browse decks of different styles from different creators all in one place. And I love Tarot Stack for being an active supporter and a collaborator in our community. So not only do they give us this platform to discover and support indie creators, but they work directly with the creators of these decks to get their decks printed and published and out there into the world. I may be working on a little something with them myself. You will have to stay tuned. But for now, we have this beautiful summer bundle. So I'm gonna have this bundle linked down below, and I'm also gonna link the individual decks. If there's one in particular that you are resonating with, you can look at every card in the deck on Tarot Stack's website. And if you are interested in getting this bundle, you can get a 10% discount using the code KINO. So thank you very much to Tarot Stack for collaborating with me once again. Thank you so much to the creators of these gorgeous decks. You're gonna see they look so beautiful together. And thank you to you for being here and for listening to that. And now, let's get into your cards. So we're starting with the Below the Surface deck to see your mid-year check-in. Oh, my little bee. My little bee fell down. Bees could be a significant symbol for you guys. And actually, bees for me are a symbol of my cat Baffy. So when I see a bee image or when a bee flies by, I know that Baffy is with me in spirit. So if you guys watching this have a companion animal who is on the other side, that could be a sign that they are watching over you. Okay, mid-year check-in for my group number 3s, starting with your personal growth and your relationship with yourself. We have Oarfish, be the bigger person. Your kindness is your strength. Oarfish are really spooky, by the way. I just realized that I know what this is, but that's because that's the English word for them, oarfish, but I've looked them up before and they're really huge and really freaky, but they're very cool. Then for your inner world, we have black tip reef shark, stay in shallow waters. Sometimes superficial is enough. For your relationships with others, we have the blue whale with the number 44. Fulfillment, dream big, it will all work out. And then for your career, for your projects, for your public image, we have the orange dotted tuskfish. Think outside the box. You have yet to discover valuable tools. Interesting. Okay, so we are going to go through these in order. I feel like with this be the bigger person, this is something that's starting to come very easily to you. Maybe it's something that has gotten easier for you this year as you have worked on yourself. I feel like in general, you're caring less about other people. And I don't mean that in a way that you're lacking compassion for others, but it's that you're not so attached to what people do and the decisions people make and how they choose to behave, or it's like, I don't have time to oversee everything you're doing. I'm just gonna let you be you. I'm gonna let you show your true colors, and I'm just gonna focus on me. You know, you can do what you want to do and I can react however I want to. But I'm not trying to save anyone. I'm not trying to fix anyone. I'm not trying to control anyone. I'm not trying to look at the details of what someone's doing. I'm too busy with myself, and I honestly just don't care. Like, I feel like that's kind of the vibe that you're in. There's that expression, let them, which maybe you've heard before. And I think it's kind of a philosophy for life. It's like, let them. Don't lose sleep over what someone else is doing. Don't feel like you have to step in and fix it, or try to change someone or change someone's mind or convince them of this and that, or save them from themselves or save them from the consequences of their actions. Just let them do what they're gonna do. Let them be who they're gonna be. And that is gonna take so much stress off of you. I think you're really focus on yourself because you realize that at the end of the day, that is all you can really control anyway. And that's all that matters anyway. And this be the bigger person, it doesn't really feel like something that you're actively trying to do and that it's a struggle to do and that you have to keep reminding yourself to do. I think it just comes naturally. How do I describe it? It's like you're saying like, oh yeah, it's okay. Maybe you're forgiving someone because you genuinely don't care. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, okay, that's fine. I don't know why this is a hard energy for me to describe. I think you just have so much abundance in your life and in your relationship with yourself that I think you find yourself stressing less about the details of what someone might have said or not said, or what someone might have done or not done, or how someone is changing or how they're not changing. You know, it's like, if you're meant to be in my life, you're gonna be in my life. And I'm not gonna, you know, it's like, if someone, the example that's coming to me, it's like if you're dating, right? And you're talking to someone and then they are like really shitty at replying and they stop responding. Maybe past you would have been like, oh my gosh, did they not like me? Did I do something wrong? Or like, am I blocking my manifestation of love? Like, you maybe really got in your head about it. Whereas current you is like, okay, never mind, on to the next. And then, you know, this person comes back and they're like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so bad at texting. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm such a bad blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, that's okay. And it's not even like, you're like, I'm so upset, but I have to forgive this person and be the bigger person. You're like, wait, who are you again? Like, I feel like that's kind of your energy. You're like, oh, don't worry about it. You're good. Anyway, I'm going to keep living my life. Because you're not sweating about what others might be doing. You're not pressed about it. You know what I mean? Or like, let's say you found out that like a coworker was talking crap about you. Like they got caught talking crap about you. And you literally don't give a shit. And they come up to you and they're like, I'm like, no, I'm so sorry. Like, you don't get it. Like, I didn't mean it that way. And you're just like, it's okay. I could not give two shits if you're talking shit about me. I literally don't care. like just say whatever you want to say. It's like you're in such a good place with yourself that it just kind of automatically makes you a bigger person. And you're not even trying to like, oh, let me see their benefit of the doubt, let me extend compassion to them. It's like you're not even bothered. And that makes you a big person. I hope that that makes sense. I feel like this is the energy that you've been embodying. Also, please Google oarfish. They're so spooky, but like in a satisfying way. They're really freaky. And like, Vanessa, you're so real for putting this in the deck. I love this deck so much. I love it. I think it's one of my favorite Vanessa decks so far. Okay, so moving on, we have for your inner world, we have black tip reef shark. Stay in shallow waters. Sometimes superficial is enough. So this section, I did put home life, but it's mostly just been about people's like inner world and people's inner work. I think that you might be realizing that sometimes things are not that deep. I think that you are a very introspective person and you're very focused on yourself. And these are good traits to have, but I think you're really realizing that sometimes it's not really worth digging deep. I'm pretty guilty of this, honestly, but you know, we talk about shadow work, finding the root of certain grievances that we have. And we also talk about how everything is a reflection of you. So like if someone's annoying you, it's because they're showing you, they're holding a mirror to something in yourself that you don't like. And I feel like these things are true, but I think there's also a discernment that comes into it of like, is digging deep really gonna benefit me in this situation? Is this really something I need to be spending my time doing? Like if you have an exchange with someone and they piss you off, yes, you could start unpacking all of that and saying like, what wound did they trigger in me and why is this bothering me so much? And you can get really deep into it. Like, what does this say about me? And what does this say about what I need to heal? But this is not always an effective way to move through the world. Because if you do this with every interaction you have, you're never going to get anything done. You're never going to move forward. And sometimes it's okay to just say, that person is annoying. Or like, I don't like that, and move on. We don't always have to unpack like, but why don't I like it? What does it say about me and my insecurities and blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, that work can be very helpful sometimes, but it's not for every interaction and it's not for every experience. And sometimes it's okay to just be like, I don't like that. I don't agree with that person. That doesn't sit right with me, and it is what it is. And I accept that and I move on. You know, some things are just not for you, and maybe you could dig deep and figure out why that is, or maybe you could just say that's not for you, because sometimes superficial is enough. Not everything needs to be unpacked so much, or not everything needs to be dug deep into so much. And so I think that you may be, for the rest of this year, moving out of an introspective energy, moving out of a shadow work energy, and now it's time to just live life, and now it's just time to coast for a while. We don't need to be in this kind of probing into ourselves energy right now. Now this is very interesting, this blue whale, ultimate fulfillment in your relationship. So this is very much giving 10 of Cups vibes. I must say, dream big, it will all work out. So for those of you who chose this group, I would bet that you have a dream or a longing that is very close to your heart when it comes to relationships. It could be about a specific person. It could be about just the type of relationships you want to have, manifesting a soulmate, manifesting your soul family, having a reconciliation with someone, a union or a reunion of some kind. It may even be between other parties. Maybe a longing that you have with relationships is that these two family members get along, or that these two friends of yours get along. It may not even really involve you, but it seems like you have a wish really close to your heart with relationships, and it may seem very big sometimes or out of reach. Maybe sometimes it seems unlikely or unrealistic, but this card very clearly says that it will all work out. Not only will it all work out, but it is meant to be. You have this number 44, that is the divine plan. That's the divine order. And that's angelic guidance and angelic protection. The whole reason you have this wish in your heart is because you were guided there by the divine, is because it's already in your plan. It's already in your blueprint. So whomever it is that you are longing to be close to, it's because you're meant to be close to them. They're meant to be in your life. You are meant to be with them. Don't dismiss the longings of your heart, because they are meant to be there. And perhaps something you have been working on this year is allowing yourself to have faith in the longings of your heart and the relationships or types of relationships that you wish for. This could also be about belonging to a certain community, making connections within a certain community, within a certain space. Maybe looking at people who are living the kind of life that you want to live and recognizing, like, those are your friends, those are your like-minded people, those are your kindred spirits. Like, you're meant to be right in there with them. Basically, whomever you feel a longing towards, you're meant to be right there with them. That's what I can say about this. And maybe that's also, it's like the closer you get energetically, or I could say the closer you get in vibration to your soulmates and your soul family, the less you care about what everyone else is doing. It's almost like, you know, on a gut level, that's not my soulmate anyway. That's not my soul family anyway. You know, they're not meant to be in my life anyway. So why am I stressing about them? You know what I mean? Why am I stressing about what this, I don't know, this Tinder date or this person on the internet is doing? Like, that's not my business. That's not my soul family. You recognize deep down who is. I think you do. I know you do. And I know that your soul recognizes you're meant to have this ultimate fulfillment with them. And I think you've been doing an amazing job at keeping that faith, allowing yourself to be hopeful, and keeping that love alive in your heart. And I think that love has been an amazing guide for you, whether this person or these people are in your life or not. They have been an incredible guide for you. Now up here, for your career, for your projects, your public image, we have think outside the box. You have yet to discover valuable tools. First of all, for those of you who are searching for a career that would be good for you, or, you know, what you should be studying, what you should be working on, this card seems to be suggesting to do something that is different than what you have previously done. And if you've been struggling to find a job, it may be that you're not looking in the right places, and maybe you're meant to look in an entirely different field or take an entirely different approach. Also, for those of you who have been judging yourself because you haven't been able to conform to what everyone else is doing or follow the formula to success, it's probably because you're not supposed to. I don't think that this group, you will find success through like the tried and true methods, or what everyone else is doing, or what everyone says you should do. I don't know why this is happening to me. I guess Instagram changed the algorithm recently. And you know how if you're on Instagram, I don't have threads and I'm not gonna get it, but Instagram like shows you people's threads because they're trying to make you get the app. And for some reason, they keep showing me people's threads about like content creators. This new algorithm says that you have to do this and that. If you're not making your reels this many seconds long, and if you're not doing that, and it's like, I don't know why I am the last person to care about that kind of shit. But anyway, I keep getting shown that stuff. And that would be the box. And I feel it's like, it seems like every week there's some new shit about like, oh, now the algorithm says you have to do this and blah, blah, blah. And I don't think that you, group number 3, were meant to follow those rules and meant to find success in whatever predetermined way society or algorithms or whatever it is says that you are supposed to. I think that you're meant to do things in your own unique way. And I do think that there was a period in your life where you did think outside the box. So you know how to do this. This is something you're a natural at that you're just coming back to. You used to confidently do things differently, confidently go off the beaten path. But something may have happened that started to make you kind of to second guess. And yeah, maybe judge yourself. Maybe I'm too weird. Maybe I should be trying to do it like everybody else. Maybe the fact that I can't do it like everybody else is a flaw in me. And then you start trying to do it like other people. It's not really a warning message, but for some of you, I'm being shown this could end up being really frustrating for you, because I'm shown you have this approach to your work that is very unique, but everybody else does it this way. And you start to second guess yourself. Maybe I should do it like everybody else. If you start conforming, eventually, just with the way the times go and the way trends go, everybody's gonna start trying to do it like your natural way. And you're gonna be like, what the, like, I tried so hard to conform to all of you, and now all of you are doing it my way. That was always my way. Maybe this is a weird example, but it's like, if you, like, I'm thinking about plastic surgery and how, because it's so dumb that physical features are trends. And in the same way, it's so dumb that there's a prescribed approach to how you should work and how you should create. You should do it in your own natural way, obviously. But I'm thinking of someone who, let's say, like, let's say somebody has a small butt, okay? And that's what makes them unique, and everybody around them has a big butt. And so then this person gets a BBL, and then like 3 months later, small butts are in. Small butts are a trend. And they're like, damn it, that was my natural stuff. You know? Which, the fact that it's in the first place is stupid, like I just said. But that example is just to illustrate, like, if you go against your natural way, pretty soon that's your natural way is gonna be in, and that's gonna be your chance to shine, and you should ride that wave. And if you betray yourself only to find that you were doing what you were meant to do all along, I think you could really be kicking yourself. And so that's kind of like the warning message, so to speak. I hope that makes sense. Maybe that was a weird example talking about butts, but that is just what came to my mind, okay? Like, it's that kind of, if you try to conform, you will regret it. And again, that's not like a threat or like a warning message. It's just something to be aware of so that you're not like, damn it, in the future. You know how to think outside the box. You've been thinking outside the box. This is just something that you're coming back to. I feel like it's not something that you have to newly figure out, which is good. It's like you already know how to do it. You've already mastered it. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the predictions for the rest of the year. So I'm gonna pull 3 tarot cards for the remaining seasons of the year. And I said this for group number 2 as well, but every time I shuffle this deck, the air that blows off of it smells really good, and I don't know why. And I don't know if that's intentional either, but very enjoyable. Also, this deck shuffles really nicely. Okay, the energies of the rest of the year for my group number 3s. So we have the King of Wands. We have the Queen of Cups. And we have the Hanged One. Ooh, it's all people. And then I also made these just for a visual of the seasons, because it will be different depending on where you are in the world. And I didn't want it to be confusing. So it's like this. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere, then we are looking at summer, fall, winter. If you are in the Southern Hemisphere, we're looking at winter, spring, summer. So the remaining seasons of the year. I think it makes a lot of sense that we have this King of Wands energy. It's very much giving like, F this, I'm the main character. I do what I want. I'm gonna grow in my own natural way, in my way that is most authentic. I'm not gonna try to conform to anyone else because I am the trendsetter. I am the standard. I am the blueprint. I am the algorithm. What do you mean? You can't tell me what to do and what to make and how to be. I make whatever I want and I manifest abundance from it. You're really taking on that badass leader energy. Maybe you're already embodying this energy, but this is what you're evolving into, King of Wands. I would even say in other readings that you do, whether you're doing it yourself or someone else is doing it for you, King of Wands represents who you're becoming, your ideal self or your future self or your most empowered self, because this is really you reclaiming your personal power. I would say if you're working on any independent, self-started endeavors at this time, you're going to enjoy a lot of success from them. So an independent creative project, self-study could be paying off really well. Any sort of self-employed venture, a business idea that you have, these things are really going to be taking off in this season, and you're going to be reaping beautiful rewards from them, feeling very in your power and feeling in control of your manifestations, because you're no longer looking around to what everyone else is doing as a reference to what you should be doing. You're like, oh, you're doing you over there and that's great, and I love that for you, but I'm over here doing me in this way, and I know that I'm doing it the right way because this is the way that feels good to me and that feels natural to me, and I'm no longer gonna try to go against that. So this is a beautiful blossoming. This is a beautiful energy of personal growth that you're going through in this season. And I can see why your spiritual team said that your growth and your relationship with yourself is the most important thing in the rest of this year. And I think it will continue to be the most important thing and your biggest priority. I think that you're becoming less accommodating, which is a good thing, because you've maybe been too accommodating to others in the past, like to the point that you will bend over backwards and change up your plans and jumble up your life and put your own stuff on hold to make others comfortable. And I think you're not doing that anymore. And I think you're also less accessible. These are all A words. It's like you're less accommodating, less accessible, less approachable, and less available. And these are all good things because we need balance. And I feel like you've maybe been too accommodating, too available to too many people, too approachable to too many people, too accessible to too many people. You know what I mean? And so we're coming back to the healthy balance of that. I don't see you developing boundaries that are too rigid or putting up walls that are too high. I see you getting to that place that is just right and that really feels good, and realizing that overextending yourself is no way to serve others, because if you are drained and depleted of energy, you can't really serve others in a meaningful or helpful way anyway. It's better to It's better to serve a few people to the best of your ability and really give them all of your heart and soul, because then they will be fulfilled and that will ripple out. You filled them up and now they are able to serve their few, and then they're able to serve their few. Rather than trying to spread yourself thin to everybody, it's like you were never meant to serve everybody. And if you spread yourself so thin and drain yourself, what are you really giving them? You're giving them the leftover crumbs of your energy. And that's not what they deserve either. And so it's just better to be more discerning and to not overpromise or overcommit either. You're really tightening up where you spend your energy, but then the few things and the few connections you do, you really give all of you. You really give your full potential. You really give your best work. And then the people you are working with and the people you are serving will really appreciate it. I'm just thinking, if I was a client of somebody, I would kind of like to know that they're not taking a ton of clients, because I feel if they're like, oh, I have 10,000 other clients that I'm working for right now, I might feel like, can they then really give their all to the service that they're providing me? Or they're surely going to be scattered, if that's obviously dramatic, if they have 10,000 clients. But you know what I mean? It's like you're creating something that's more valuable. For those of you who are creators or have your own business, I think you're really embracing quality over quantity and recognizing that it's better to have a few clients who are really loyal and really support you than to have a bunch of clients who are wishy-washy. Or same thing with followers, for example. And it's better to have that group that is niche and that you really resonate with. There's something about, you're not chasing quantity or getting bigger. You're chasing the quality of those connections, the quality of those relationships, and the quality of your projects, rather than making more and more and more. And I'm thinking about the algorithm again, like that says, oh, you should be, I don't know, putting something out 3 times a week, for example. And you're like, no, I will put it out when it's ready. Thank you very much. Because I'm putting out my best work, and however long that takes is however long that takes. Like, and there's something about you're ahead of the curve. Like, you embracing your authenticity, it's ahead of the curve, and everyone's going to be doing it soon. And you will have already knew that this was the way to do it. Then we get into our next season, and we have the Queen of Cups. I feel like this is a season where you're going to be taking it easy. Something about this Queen of Cups is giving me the feeling of enjoying the fruits of your labor and you will not be stressed into working. Yeah, you cannot be manipulated, you cannot be pressured, you cannot be exploited. Like, you are so taking up all of your energy and so in your power, nothing can really mess with you. I see you kind of reaching this peak of success or fulfillment in your life. And while you could be like, oh, things are going really well for me right now, I better keep grinding so that I don't lose this momentum. Like, that's a very fear-based and stress-based motivator. And you could very well do that, but I don't see you doing that. You're like, oh, things are going very well for me right now. I think I'm gonna take a vacation. I think I'm gonna enjoy the fruits of my labor. Because I feel like that's kind of the point, to enjoy my life. You know? I think I'm gonna coast for a little bit. I just feel like during this season, you are taking it easy. You're spending time with your friends and family, or with your significant other. Excuse me, Miss Ultimate Fulfillment. You're spending time with animals, I'm hearing. Spending time in nature, disconnecting. And some people might say, like, that's the last thing you should do right now because things are going so well for you. You should be You should be profiting off of this momentum. You should be grinding even harder so that you don't fall off. And you're like, I'm not going to fall off. As a wise man once said, fall off what? I ain't seen the horse. Or fall off where? I don't know. Sorry, Doja. Fall off where? I ain't seen the horse. Anyway. Bitch, I said what I said. So, and that's you. You're like, I'm not going to fall off unless I say so. We will, you know, you can't decide if I fell off. Only I decide that. I'll fall off when I feel like it. And it's like, you're not going to be scared into continuing to feed the machine or continuing to grind out of fear that you're going to lose something. I did well for myself, and now I'm going to enjoy the well that I did for myself. I'm going to enjoy my wealth. I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'm going to enjoy this place that I have reached. So some of you could be like going on a trip, taking a vacation, just you're taking some time off around this season. And I do see you surrounded by loved ones, and animals keep coming up too. Like, I'm gonna spend time with my dogs. I'm gonna go to a cottage with my 3 dogs and just vibe for a month. It's like that kind of energy that you're in. And honestly, if you're doing that, you've won at life, because that's what life is all about. It's about vibing with your dogs in a cottage. It really is. And some people are they're just way too late in realizing that. You will never regret spending time with your animals. Like, animals coming through really strongly. Time spent with animals is never time wasted, and time spent in nature is never time wasted. And with family, like with your family, with your children, with your babies, with your loved ones. I feel like spending time with your loved ones and your family, whether that's biological or chosen family, is just a really big priority for you around this time, and other things can wait. You're in your abundant energy. And then in the winter, we have the Hanged One. So you're in a cocoon, you're preparing for something new. This energy feels low profile, feels low key. You're preparing for something and you are unseen. You could be preparing something behind the scenes that you have not announced, or that you just haven't really told people about. And this is honestly kind of giving me hermit vibes, even though it's not the hermit. You're feeling called to retreat because you can sense a transformation coming. Interesting. Yeah, you could be spending more time in solitude. You could be posting less, or you're just kind of not online. And I feel like this also goes in the same vein of being less accessible. But I feel like you're gaining a lot of inspiration in this time, and you're channeling a lot at this time. So you're low key and you're behind the scenes, but you're busy. Like, you're cooking something at the end of this year. I feel like this is kind of cliffhangery, because it's like, what are you cooking? We don't know. It's your next project. It's your next move. And it's something major, you know. This is a major arcana, the Hanged Man. You're working on something big that you felt inspired to do, that, oh my gosh. Like, and I almost feel like I want to say, if you gave in to the temptation to keep hustling when you're at the top of your game, you maybe wouldn't have been available to receive this download or to receive this calling to create. You're like, what am I gonna, I'm not gonna hustle just for the sake of hustling. Like, what do you mean? I reached a victory, I did well, and now I'm gonna relax and enjoy the fruits of my labor. And the next time I receive a call to make something or to work on something, that's when I'll do it. And because you you remain true to yourself and you slowed down and enjoyed life, you were in the perfect space to receive that call from spirit about your next big move. And you're like, okay, spirit, I got it. Now I'm going to go into hermit mode and I'm going to channel like crazy. And I'm going to probably go through a crazy spiritual awakening, and I'm going to work on this next big thing. Like group 3 version 2.0 or version 5.6 or whatever it is, it's in the making. Like you're going through updates. And if you had just continued to push forward for no reason other than like, oh, you better keep going, you better keep trying to outdo yourself. Like, what does that even mean? What is that even? What the hell is even that? Then you might have missed that whisper of like, it's time to go into hermit mode. Yeah, you're in a little bit of a hermit mode at the end of this year. You're slowing down. But I feel like you're embracing it. Because you know, and I feel like that goes back to building meaningful connections. It's that you know that your loyal soul family, your loyal connections, your loyal clients, your loyal fans, whatever it is, they respect your process. They embrace your process. If you go into this cocoon and transform, and when you come out, that person's gone, they were not that's not your soul family. They weren't meant to be there. It's those true divine connections who will nurture your cocoon, embrace your cocoon, give your cocoon space to breathe, whatever it needs, and excitedly wait, with not waiting as in like, I'm waiting. I'm pointing to my wrist, but you can't see it. But will gently and lovingly and patiently wait for your transformation and eagerly welcome the new you, and they will be waiting right there because they are loyal to the journey of your soul. Yeah. Oh, this is so empowering. So the last thing I want to do, I want to read this one from the guidebook because this is what your spiritual team said was the most important. The oarfish. The oarfish is a mysterious giant. Hell yeah, he is, in the ocean. This is the longest bony fish species still alive today. Much remains unknown about this mesmerizing creature. However, we do know that oarfish feed primarily on zooplankton. Overall, they seem to take life easy and possess a relatively relaxed temperament. The oarfish brings you messages of wisdom and maturity. Be the bigger person as often as is available, especially with people known to test your patience. The phrase "kill them with kindness" perfectly describes how to react when someone is purposefully trying to trigger you, or someone is attempting to use you as their emotional punching bag. You need not match their energy and quickly defend or protect yourself. The oarfish reminds you it isn't worth your energy or time. Don't give your triggers the attention or reaction for which they are looking. Instead, meet them with kindness and set an example of how to handle any situation peacefully. This approach will help you maintain your personal power and dignity no matter what anyone else does. Love it. And it's on page 93, which could be significant to you. And it kind of goes back to this, like sometimes superficial is enough. Like if someone says something that triggers you, sometimes it's not the beneficial thing for you to like dig 18 layers deep and figure out exactly what is it saying about me that this triggered me. Sometimes the answer is just like, this person is trying to get under my skin and I'm just going to kill them with kindness and I'm going to move on with my life. And that is going to be the most effective use of my time. There's a time for deeper reflection and shadow work, and there's a time to just be a bad bitch and continue to move gracefully through your life. And I think the oarfish, one thing that they got right is that they have that relaxed temperament. They take life easy. That's probably why they're so ancient. That's probably why they survive so long, because they have no one stressing them out. And what we do know about them, we don't know much, but what we do know is that they're eating. And that is so you. So group number 3, thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. And thank you so much once again to Tarot Stack for collaborating with me. Thank you so much to the creators of these lovely decks. It is such a pleasure to be able to use them. I'm gonna have this bundle linked down below. I'm also gonna have the individual decks linked down below. If you would like to take a better look at them, you can look at all of the cards on Tarot Stack's website. And remember, if you would like to get the bundle, you can get a 10% discount using the code KINO. So thank you guys so much. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings, just like the ones that we do here on this channel. We have a lovely community there, and you can also decide on the topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release linked down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so, so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here. And I'm sending so much love to you, to your higher self, to anyone who appeared in this reading, to their higher self. And I'm sending love to your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.